Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I'm your host, Joe Zollo. Today is a fun celebration because I'm going to be honest with you guys. In the first full week of May, there isn't exactly that much NFL news. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring on some of our friends, some of our favorites in the industry. We have 6 guests, all in 10-minute time slots throughout the rest of the show. We have questions for all of them pertaining to what they cover, their favorite team, whatever it may be. So there'll be different discussion topics throughout. And of course, as always, leave your comments because we will always get to those too. Let's get into it. Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I'm your host, Joe Zollo. No, Josh, he didn't feel like appreciating anybody today. He decided, no, we don't want to do that. I know he is at work, so it is just myself and Ryan. Hello, sir. How are you?
How are you, Joe? Good to see you again.
Yeah, back with a tan and peeling shoulders from Mexico. So
that'll happen.
Yeah, that'll happen. I won't be here again in 2 weeks because I'll be in Florida. So. But then the rest of the summer should be pretty.
Yeah, I was gonna say with you doing hockey, the summer should be pretty wide open for you.
I know. I get to be on the show for an actual amount of time and actually talk about my Patriots for the first time in forever over the summer. Yeah. We will have, as mentioned, 6 guests throughout 7:05, 7:15, 7:25, 7:35, 7:50, and 8:05. We'll end around 8:15 tonight. So before we bring on the first guest, quick news. Like I said, not much happening in the NFL nowadays. There really isn't much to talk about, especially since the schedule normally comes out tomorrow. Yes. It got pushed back to next Wednesday. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, a lot of people know who their teams are playing, just waiting to see where they fall. So that'll be an interesting topic.
The first game will be all that kind of fun.
Exactly. Interesting topic come next week. The news. Odell Beckham, 1-year deal with the Dolphins. It's incredible. He doesn't run below a 4.5, if I'm not mistaken. So how is he on the team? It's a crazy observation.
They need a big slow guy, though he's not big.
They need a possession receiver. That's a great call.
There you go. That's Odell Beckham now.
Yeah. And he will go there to inevitably lose in the first round of the playoffs. Tyler Boyd signs a 1-year deal with the Tennessee Titans. If you didn't think there was already 700 nails in the coffin of Treylon Burks, this was the 701st. Because this is it, folks. He might still be a Titan. Like, obviously, you need 5 receivers normally going into the season. Most teams carry 6. He should be there, right? He should be there, in theory. He should be a Titan. But he's very well a cut candidate for real life.
Well, because they gave Westbrook-Ikhine a new contract at the end of last season, if I remember correctly. It's a small deal, but they re-upped him. So.
Right. They could cut him again. Let's just... Remember they cut Westbrook-Ikhine, then signed him again?
And then brought him back in the regular season, to not guarantee his contract sort of thing.
Correct.
That's very true.
Yep, 100%. And DJ Chark to the Chargers. A lot of receiver news, which is interesting.
I went through every position. Nothing else interesting whatsoever.
Absolutely nothing. DJ Chark to the Chargers, 1-year deal worth up to $5 million. He goes in there, and his only veteran competition is Joshua Palmer.
Yeah.
And yes, Joshua Palmer is like a deep threat guy, but Palmer does a lot of his stuff underneath as well.
I was just going to say, I think I wrote this in my article about Ladd McConkey. I think Palmer and Ladd McConkey are going to conglomerate form Keenan Allen. And so Chark could easily slide into that Mike Williams role that we know Quentin Johnston ain't stepping in.
And he fits perfectly into that role because he's injured a lot. So that actually fits perfectly for true. DJ Chark in the Los Angeles Chargers. So, that could very well fit perfectly in their whole scheme. DJ Chark could see some value late in redraft. And then no limitations on Aaron Rodgers and OTAs. The only thing that will limit him is his ego. So we'll see how that does this season. And who knows, maybe he makes it double the amount of plays before tearing his other Achilles.
Yeah, what I found interesting is I'm seeing a lot of people really positive on like Garrett Wilson, who's not had a real quarterback at any point in his NFL career, but it's like, we don't know what Aaron Rodgers he is getting. He may not have a real quarterback next year. So should be fun to keep an eye on.
Imagine the Jets sign Aaron Rodgers year 1. He tears his Achilles. Year 2, he's like that year Aaron Rodgers went 20 touchdowns for 24 interceptions or something like that. Like, it was just it was an awful year. That's the 2 years the Jets got of Aaron Rodgers.
Perfect.
Absolutely love that. All right. And almost perfectly on time, as I always am on this show. Our first guest, bringing in from Rumboyz, the man himself, Rumboyz Robbie. How are you, buddy?
What is good? What is good? Cheers to me. Cheers to you. Shout out to the whole Club Fantasy crew. Dilly dilly.
Oh,
yeah. I have water, so
I don't even have a drink next to me. So.
Ryan, hydration is key. Robbie just has water with a little bit of fun in it. I just have straight water.
Yeah, it's just a quick Stella, you know.
Yeah, a little Stella. All right, Robbie. One, thank you for coming on for your quick little time on here. But I want to get your thoughts because I believe you are a Commanders fan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
For later, Joe. Joe did not read what I told her.
No, I didn't.
Questions are for later. Robbie, who has run Rumboyz forever. But recently, you are with both Big Guy Fantasy Sports and Underdog. So you have a ton going on this entire summer. Talk to us about what you have coming up. And then if there's time, Joe, we'll ask a fantasy question.
No, I'm going to ask him a question regardless. But go ahead.
No, Robbie, talk to us about what you got going on, man.
Yeah. So for fantasy content for Rumboyz, shout out to the homie Gator. He's actually going to be Gator and Avenge Nerd are actually going to both be my cameraman, and then also being a part of the Rumboyz Fantasy Network documentary. We're going to be filming that while we are out at the expo. And we may or may not be including some other clips from some other adventures that I've been going on. And I will be going on. So be on the lookout for that. A true fantasy football documentary. Just a little inspiration for all the content creators out there. Y'all know I've been doing this 6 years. Of course, we are always keep you guys up to date with the latest and greatest in fantasy football news. More Rumboyz After Dark each and every single Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And of course, we will have all of our NFL play-by-play on schedule for you guys, as we always do, as well as Rumboyz NFL AM for your Sunday morning pregame shows. We'll also be getting into some SFB14 mock drafts, and we'll begin breaking down some of my Underdog admin bandit drafts because I can't be in the regular best ball mania format with the rest of you guys. So we'll be getting into some best ball drafts, some of my best ball lineups, so on and so forth. And then as for Underdog, you just got to stay tuned. Like, I'm going to be honest. For everything Underdog Fantasy, make sure that you guys follow us on Underdog Fantasy, Underdog Pick'ems, Underdog Drafts, so on and so forth.
A pretty big day with the puppy opening up today. So
yeah, puppy opened up today. Make sure you guys go get involved with that. We opened up a couple of days. Schnauzer. Super big day. And then we also have a Discord live that we'll be doing for the NBA playoffs tonight and throughout the rest of the weekend. So yeah, a lot going on over there.
It's a missed opportunity if they don't name anything Updog. It's a real. I'm just saying, it's a missed opportunity if they don't name anything Updog.
I'll toss that to product feedback. I'll pass that along.
Do you know how funny that would be? What's up, dog? What's up with you? Come on, that's perfect.
As part of the marketing department, I disagree.
I'm with Robbie.
Hard stop right there.
All right. One, you guys aren't fun. Okay. Clearly, the fun bone has left your body this NFL offseason.
Yeah, that's when I watch any show with Robbie on it. I'm like, that guy seems not fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Up dog. Come on. I think it should at least be brought to the table. Now,
I'll bring it up.
Robbie, you don't have to take credit. If you hate it, say some dumbass I was on a podcast would pitch this to me.
I for sure will throw you under the bus,
that's
Joe.
Perfect.
Don't you worry.
That's fine. I work full time. I don't need any commission. This is all you. If it works, you get the credit. All right. I am simply a bystander. All right. That's That's my one thing for everybody today. I'll give them one idea.
I love it. Okay, so you're just feeding an idea to each.
Yeah, good or bad. I don't know, good or bad.
I love it.
Joe's building his marketing resume.
Yeah, I mean,
marketing world on this show.
It's an extensive resume I have in marketing. Why not try and throw out some other ideas already?
I love it.
This is true.
Yeah. So, as I was saying before Ryan rudely interrupted me for Robbie to talk about him for some reason, obviously.
Everyone knows me, so like it's weird talking about myself. It's like, fuck.
Commanders going into, I believe this will be their 8th straight different starting quarterback in week 1 over the last 8 years. Right. It's something crazy.
You could have just got into your question. You didn't have to like stab me while you did it. But all right.
I wasn't. Listen. You're a Commanders fan. I don't know if you chose that life or you were born into it.
I did choose this life. Like, come on. I'm wearing a Commanders underdog shirt. I chose this life.
It's a tough life. But Jayden Daniels comes in. A lot of people very high on him. What do you feel his expectations are, at least in year 1?
So when I go through Commanders Twitter, I am very much just as hype as the rest of the community is, the rest of the fan base is. Year 1, I think for us, get us into the playoffs. A playoff win would be great.
Whoa.
With the weapons that Peters has put together, with the way that the organization has already began off-season workout programs, trying to get the guys working with each other, so on and so forth. I think that nothing short with the way that the rest of the division has kind of dwindled outside of Philadelphia.
That's fair.
There's no reason for us to not be, as a fan base, to not be holding ourselves to a standard of at least a playoff appearance. A win is a stretch, but would be nice. In 3 years, we want a couple of playoff wins. We want to see ourselves going deep in the playoffs. In 5, we want a ring. That's the timeline I'm putting us on underneath this new regime.
Were you big on Daniels pre-draft? A lot of people were worried about his slender build and things. So.
Yes. I got exactly what I wanted. I yeeted myself across the room and like RKO'd myself out of this chair onto my freaking bed that's over there on my live stream when we got Jayden Daniels. So yeah, I absolutely was super high on Jayden Daniels. Excited for the mobility. Worry about the frame a little bit, but look, we've seen small players before and be successful, so I really don't give two shits about the frame or anything like that. What I care about is the ability to stay upright, the ability to get the timing down with sliding. We'll bring in personnel. We'll get him, taken care of in regards to that. With the new retooled offensive line, hopefully he's not having to worry about too much of that. With a combination of Austin Eckler, who likes to work in space, and Brian Robinson in the backfield that can work between the tackles, and now also us achieving a jumbo set with bringing in Sanat, Cole Turner still in the room, Zach Ertz, a veteran who can also teach to those guys. I think that Daniels has weapons around him to be very effective. And from a fantasy football standpoint, a Daniels McLaurin or a Daniels Dotson who very, very undersold last year, fantasy managers, any of these type of stacks, of Luke McCaffrey, who could be a late round dart throw in best ball formats. These are equitable stacks for you, especially when we're talking best ball season. Shout out to Underdog, play on Underdog Fantasy.
So I looked at the roster, and I don't disagree that like playoffs is out of the question for them. My biggest worry is their corners. You guys can't cover. Benjamin St-Juste, who's solid. He's solid, but he's not covering the one. The guy you're covering the one's Michael Davis, and he plays with his eyes closed. So that's really a top issue. And then Emmanuel Forbes, he's still young. Dude was drafted last year. Hopefully he becomes something. I think he's a guy you want to root for. That's an issue, I think, because bringing Jeremy Chin was a home run.
So we're going to forget about Sandstrom?
So who am I looking at here?
We're gonna forget about Mike Sandstrom getting drafted
in the nickel. In the nickel, he ain't covering AJ Brown on the outside. He ain't covering Devonta Smith on the outside.
But we need to be analyzing it. We are analysts. This is our job. I'm just saying.
Robbie, I'll give you that. He can cover every single Giants receiver on their roster because they only run out of the slot. But that isn't like he ain't covering CD or AJ Brown. So the outside guys in that division, I mean, it's definitely worrying. Now, how do you stop that? Well, you have 2 first-round draft picks directly in the middle of your fucking defensive line to get to the quarterback and put pressure. That's the best way to hide a bad secondary. And they've been doing a good job of that. So I am interested, looking at this, if Jayden Daniels can be adequate. He doesn't need to be out of this world. He just needs to be adequate in year 1 and at least get him, we think, is 9-8. Feels like a playoff berth. The NFC is not very good. The NFC is not very good.
The NFC East, absolutely 9-8 can get you into the playoffs. Is it a lot to put on the kid's shoulders? Yes, but he's also.
You shocked me when you said it.
He's a number 2 overall draft pick. It's high expectations.
He's putting a lot on himself already as well. The mentorship in the building has been surrounded around him. We're giving all the guys the right pieces, it feels like right now. This offseason is set up for success. And our GM, I trust. This is the same GM that tooled up those San Francisco 49ers rosters that we all roster Kasem over.
This is true.
There you go. Robbie, thank you so much. It's quick segments. We want you guys to be able to tell people where they can find your work. So remind everybody once again where they can look for you.
You can find me at Rumboyz Robbie on Twitter. Rumboyz spelled with a Z, N-E-T, everywhere else. And you can catch me holding down the Underdog Discord as well. So make sure you guys give us a search over on Discord. Greatly appreciate it, fellas. Thank you, and cheers.
I love Robbie. Have a good night.
Thank you, Robbie. Cheers, brother. Dilly. Cheers. All right. Well, from one NFC East fan to another sad NFC East fan, because she's a Cowboys fan. Hi, Kacy. How are you today?
Oh, you're muted, Kacy.
Oh, my God, Kacy, you're muted. Oh, that's okay. You don't want to talk about the Cowboys.
Wait. I think we muted her. Okay, there we go.
No, she's good. I tried unmuting her.
I muted it. I muted it because I was just tired of listening. I just took the headphones
You didn't want any more commanders.
You're supposed to actually turn down the volume. That's not how the mute button works for the microphone. But I hear you. How are you, Kacy?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
I'm great.
Better now that you're here. Not to just light on Robbie, though. That sounds awful.
Robbie's a great dude.
Robbie is amazing.
Fuck you, Robbie.
Yeah, right? Ryan. I was like, better now that you're here, Kacy.
What the hell? Jeez.
Yeah, it's always better when I'm here. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Listen, how about this? Best female guest so far. There you go, Ryan.
Hey, I'll take it. There we go.
So we can't slight Robbie. Best female guest so far. Kacy, I have been yelled at previously with the last guy. I jumped right to the question, and I want to know the answer to this question, but I can't ask you a question yet because I need to ask you, what do you have going on? What are you doing? You obviously you do a lot of stuff.
I was going to say, everybody else I was able to have a nice, concise answer. For Kacy, it
says
everywhere.
And many others. It ends in the third. Yeah, it's like
I like to have a lot of things on my plate at one time.
Yeah, why not? You're hungry.
No. Kacy, the main reason I wanted to get you on this show is you've done something, and you posted a very heartfelt post about it recently. You've done something that not many people would do. You quit a real full-time job to chase this, and it's been stuck with me for 24 hours now, where you said your wife keeps telling you you're using your brain for the first time in a long time, and that just really stuck with me. So I was like, I have got to get her on the show.
Yes. I used to listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff when I was working for the county. 13 years at the county, and I decided to quit that job. Beautiful, wonderful job I had. Every day I'm like, was that the right idea? But we're gonna hope and pray that was the right idea. I have a podcast called Get Real with Kacy Kasem, which is basically the thing that started me like really wanting to put out content. It's a interview podcast with people in the fantasy football industry, behind the scenes kind of thing. Why am I getting hot all of a sudden?
We've had our own Josh Hudson on the show.
So. Yes, and I need to get you guys on as well.
I would love to, but isn't there like a record high in DFW right now? It's 98 or something like that.
It's so hot out there, and I turned the air conditioning down, but it's like we don't care. So I'm just getting hotter as we go. My office is so hot. So I spent all my time up here in the heat. But yeah, I work on my podcast. I'm over with Roto Baller writing. I'm doing work with Fantasy Six Pack. Don't want to forget everybody.
We'll have Joe Bond on the show later today.
Oh, I love him. Great guy. Such a dope dude. South Harmon Fantasy Football. I'm with them as well. So yes, I decided I was going to quit my job and try to go full time, right? So trying means for the time being, I need to have some sort of thing going on in my life. So that's why I'm everywhere. But I'm having so much fun with it. And then I started my own fantasy football t-shirt company called Sunday Dreamers Club. It says probably thinking about my fantasy football lineups. But anyway, I've got a bunch of different shirts over there, sundaydreamersclub.com, because my wife really wants me to bring in a little bit of cash. So you know what I mean? Like I don't want to disappoint the wife. So
I just dropped the link in all of the chats.
Oh yeah, and if you guys go there and use Club Fantasy, I set up a promo code so you can get 10% off. Just use Club Fantasy, and there you go.
So I have a question. In your situation, happy wife, happy life, how does that work?
Well, it's not really happy life right now because it's not really happy life right now. It's been, when I decided to quit my job with the county, like I said, which was a great job. I keep saying that, but then all the benefits and stuff. Now I have.
You need to start telling yourself it was a terrible job.
It sucked. It was a terrible job.
It really did suck because, like we said, not using my brain. It was like repetitive all day, just checking stuff all day. I was there for 13 years. I'm 40. No. So happy life, happy wife. We're going to see Taylor Swift in Paris on Sunday. So she's
good Lord.
Have to be
no kidding. My coworker's going to the one in Rome in like July or something like that.
Because the tickets are cheaper. I mean, the flights and stuff, but the tickets themselves were like half the price.
I saw someone else in the fantasy industry said they're going to the Paris show. I can't remember who it was, but I saw it on Twitter like yesterday.
Oh man,
that was like when Red Sox fans would fly down to Tampa Bay for the day to see
the game because it's so much cheaper.
Because it was so much cheaper than going to Fenway to see the game. Yeah, it's the exact same way. You pay less, and hey, you could see Paris. Why not?
For sure. Like we just had our 5-year wedding anniversary, so we're kind of just that's the gift. So
I love it. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Well, we'll get one fantasy question in for you because your Dallas Cowboys have made just so many moves this offseason. It's really hard to keep track.
All in.
I hear 105.3 The Fan is just up to their knees in transaction sheets and reports with Jerry Jones on Tuesday morning.
Sports radio now.
Stop listening to sports radio because there's nothing to fucking talk about in that city. That is not Dallas Stars or Dallas Mavericks right now.
Exactly. Oh,
Ezekiel Elliott's back.
Yeah.
He is, for all intents and purposes, the RB1 on the roster.
The RB1?
Right? I mean, there's nobody else.
He really is.
He is. Unless Deuce Vaughn decides to grow 6 inches and gain 100 pounds.
He would need to double into a second Deuce Vaughn.
He would need to be quad Vaughn.
Tested, so.
He need to be quad Vaughn. So Zeke, is he a viable RB2 in redraft, in your opinion?
It's funny because at first I was like, nah. I've been thinking about that for a while. I'm like, nah, because we saw what he did last year and blah, 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 blah. But he's still going into a great situation. I talked to Anthony Servino yesterday, and he was like, yeah, I'm trying to get Zeke on my rosters, and I'll trade you a third or whatever to get Zeke because, I mean, hello, he's been there, right? And yeah, he's older, and yeah, he's a dick, but... But being a dick doesn't mean, your fantasy stats just magically go away. I mean, he's still going to, I think, maybe not the most ideal, like, obviously, I wouldn't want him as my first. But yeah, RB2, like, definitely, like, the opportunity is there. And if it's redraft, you're only going to have him for a year anyway. So why not?
He's behind 3 first-round offensive linemen, 2 of them on the left side. So
yeah. So it's a lot better situation than he was in last year, for sure.
What do you mean? You trying to say the Patriots weren't good? What are you trying to say?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just want to make sure. I was just checking.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, I mean, it kind of wasn't his fault per se that he, you know what I mean? I mean, everybody on that team last year was just like,
It was a disappointing year for Ramondre when he was playing. So
yeah.
Shut up, Ryan. We know. Okay? We know. We know. We get it. All right. I was sad. Everyone was sad when that happened. Coop, I see you in the back. I'm a Patriots fan too. I hate my life. Right? You see above the Club Fantasy logo over the top left over here? That's a John Hanna signed jersey. All right. I'm a fan. Ben Coates, dog. I love it.
This is not what this show is about.
No, I know, but we mentioned it.
We're learning
I want to end this. I want to end this with what is behind you, Kacy? Because I can't exactly make out what that is.
Yeah, so these are some fantasy football draft boards. Okay. There we go. 2018's there. And a hanger because
Are these winning seasons for you, or are these just like memorable seasons?
They're just memorable. I think I won one that's over here.
Okay.
But it's basically just a bunch of friends that get together. It's all women's league. And yeah, most of them don't play or hadn't played before they joined the league. So pretty dope. And most of us are still sticking around. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, Kacy, before we let you go, one last time, where can everybody find you and everything you do?
Yep. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheKacy. I write over with Rotoballer. I write with Fantasy Six Pack. And then I do content with South Harmon. I haven't really done anything with them yet except for live stream, but there's some stuff in the works, a podcast and a couple of other things.
There you go.
And then Sunday Dreamers Club is my fantasy football t-shirt company, sundaydreamersclub.com. You can find it on Etsy. And I have Get Real with Kasem, which is the love of my life, besides my wife, of course. But yes, you should definitely check that podcast out, especially if you're trying to get into the industry and you want to learn some tips and tricks. I talk to all kinds of awesome people.
Yeah. Well, we love it. Enjoy Paris.
Thank you.
Yeah, literally. Enjoy Paris and give Kacy some orders to come back too, because Club Fantasy gets you 10% off. So that's perfect.
There you go. All right.
Wonderful night, Kacy.
Later, guys. Have a good one.
If you missed it, it is in the chat as well. What do you do? Just dropping people in?
I was trying to drop Kacy and immediately brought Coop in.
Listen,
what's up, dude? No, I busted. I kicked the door down.
I was gonna say I wanted to give you. I wanted to give you a proper introduction, but Ryan said "fuck you," and
time is
here
money.
we are.
Time is
I screwed up.
Listen, I love the Marcus Smart jersey in the back. R.I.P. Not dead. He's just in Memphis. And
dead, kind of though. I mean, if you look very closely, there's a little thing of flowers on top of it. That's
R.I.P. Marcus Smart. We love him.
And dude, we need Porzingis back because we traded him away, and now Porzingis is hurt as expected. You know, so we'll see.
Do we?
Eventually, also, not against the Cavs.
Listen, this isn't a basketball podcast by any means, but if you're gonna bet money, I'd probably bet on the Celtics. In case
the Cavs are in a whole heap of trouble.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. When Peyton Pritchard's hitting threes in your mouth, then you should probably just quit and go home. Gentleman sweep. That's what I say. Gentleman sweep. Celtics in 5. Gentleman sweep.
We gotta let them win so that it saves time for Porzingis to get back. But let's talk football. We have a limited amount of time.
Yeah. So let's talk Jeremy Swayman and the Bruins. Game 2 tonight. Obviously, we're gonna.
I was at Game 7 against the
against the Leafs.
Against the Leafs, yeah, dude. There were way too many Leafs fans there.
All of a sudden, this is a Boston sports show.
Listen, Ryan, you can leave. I mean, you can leave.
Apparently,
Ben Coates.
Yeah, I see yours in the back.
I was gonna say you guys are doubled up.
Yeah. All right, cool. What do you have? What do you got going on?
Yeah, first, dude, shout out Kacy Kasem. She's awesome, man. I've actually met her. People, if you know my Twitter logo with the purple and the crown, that crown was from the Scott Fish Bowl. Kacy and I were both in the Notorious B.I.G. division. Then when it was music that year, and Kacy might be the only person that can go toe to toe with me in Biggie Smalls lyrics.
I love it.
She's got a lot. Yeah, if you look closely at that crown, there's little fishes in the logo there. For me, I got a million things going on, but the two things that are most important to me right now, number one, go and do the FC Eliminators with Fantasy Cares. It's for a good cause. It raises a bunch of money. I put an article out today that teaches you how to do it in case you don't know, because they are kind of scary, right? So
we actually have Allan Hepworth from Fantasy Cares coming onto the show a little bit later.
Bro, he works super overtime during this time of year, getting all those set up. But go do that to support a good cause. And if you want to support me, which maybe not a great cause, but I appreciate it, you can go and grab the Fantasy Alarm Best Ball cheat sheet that's available right now. It's got all my rankings, all the sleeper spots, everything you expect. And it comes with like a little Excel so you can use it over and over and over and win a bunch of money. So that's what we got going on right now on top of a million things.
Look at that. Beautiful. Well said.
Absolutely fantastic. And you just dropped the link for the best ball thing, I believe, today again when you were talking about the puppy opening up, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I did. So, I mean, if you go to my page and sort through some of the nonsense on Twitter at Kube Fiasco, you can find the FC Eliminator article and the links to all those. I have one up, but you can join them with I was going through and there's tons of cool.
I know Club Fantasy because I was running the account today. We retweeted your Eliminator article.
And you guys have one up there, and like Rich Rebar and Dave Kluge, so you can play with all those people. And then my pinned tweet is the draft guide. So
perfect.
Good way to. I mean, what Mother's Day is this Sunday. So that special mother in your life, get her a best ball cheat sheet. She will not be more fun, especially if she doesn't play fantasy. Then it's an even better.
My wife, when she heard about the money available in those underdog drafts, jumped into some underdog drafts last year.
That's all I'm saying.
I would have done far better if she had your guide.
That's what I'm saying. Dude. You got to get them things.
Didn't listen to her husband.
Yeah,
get them things that they wouldn't buy for themselves.
I love it.
So I'm gonna get my wife a fantasy football cheat sheet.
It's just amazing that.
And then within 10 minutes, be like, "You mind if I look at that?"
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, what's really amazing is this is the first time that I've known Joe that he's been able to call Maggie his wife.
I know, yeah.
Congratulations.
Hey, thank you. Hey, babe. You know how you hate listening to people talk, don't listen to the show, and hate
how about
fantasy
you read
football?
About it?
I got something for you.
I got this Microsoft Excel sheet for you. How about that? I got this Excel sheet for you. Yeah, real sexy.
The perfect gift.
Real sexy. All right. Keep trade cut candidates for rookies here.
Okay.
Ben Sinnott, Jatavion Sanders, Theo Johnson. Keep trade cut.
Coop's a big tight end guy, so that's why I went with the 3 tight ends here that are not Brock Bowers.
The fantasy football version of Kill Mary Fuck.
Yeah, so I love it because I actually have real life experience with this exact topic. In a draft on Monday, best ball tight end premium with a couple fantasy guys, but a guy on the clock from this, he's a DJ in Lost Kings, is on the clock. And I was on the clock and he was hitting me up and I was like, you need a tight end, don't you? He was like, yep. I go, all right, give me Jerry Jeudy for this pick. It's yours. And he took Ben Sinnott, pick 302 in a draft. So he took Ben Sinnott, who I do have ranked first. So I'm going to call him the trade. The keep at ADP for me is Jatavion Sanders. I think this guy has tremendous hands. He didn't drop a single pass in all of last season on like 67 targets, right? His best comparables to me are guys like Zach Ertz and Hunter Henry, where he's got great hands, great route running. The only thing he's missing is elite speed. So he needs a lot of targets. Love that guy. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut Theo Johnson, even though I like him. And I know that he has tremendous size-adjusted speed, right? He doesn't have like pure amazing speed like Evan Engram or Kyle Pitts, but size-adjusted speed, Trey Bone, I gotta cut him simply because the other 2 guys I like better. I like the draft cap and landing spot for Sinnott, and I like the hands in the landing spot for Sanders. So there you go, boys.
I've been all in the Sanders-Theo Johnson debate in every draft I'm in because I like to grab one. When you look at Theo Johnson, there's the Waller retirement, not retirement, that we don't know what's going on with, but it seems like he's retiring. Is Johnson immediately going to jump Daniel Bellinger? Because we were all pretty excited about Daniel Bellinger 2 years ago, and then Waller screwed that all up.
Yeah, I think like with these early tight ends, and this is what's brutal about the tight end position versus other ones, is that with wide receivers and running backs and quarterbacks, there's basically one job, right? Quarterback, your job is quarterback. Wide receiver, your job is wide receiver. There's very few blocking wide receivers. Maybe Willie Snead, right? Or like
I think that's all Traylon Burks does now.
Justin Watson. What'd you say, Joe?
I think that's all Traylon Burks.
I said Willie Snead's a dog. So
Willie Snead's a dog.
But Willie Snead.
I would say Justin Watson, a blocking wide receiver. But for the most part, you play wide receiver. With tight end, we do all our rookie rankings, and then we have to see what side of the tree they end up on. Of course, you could be an every down 2-way tight end like George Kittle if you're like a perfect unicorn. But some of these guys end up being Drew Sample and Tyler Kroft and Mercedes Lewis and Michael Pruitt. And you got to remember those guys, I'm not dogging those guys because those guys are multimillionaires. Congratulations. But for fantasy football, not amazing, right? And then the other side, of course, you have the guys that are kind of more pure pass catchers. And unfortunately, Daniel Bellinger, the moment they said, we're going to bring in Darren Waller, that's them telling us this guy's probably going to go on that side of the tree. Now we've seen guys go on that side and come back. Martellus Bennett is a guy that, was a blocker, became kind of a pass catcher, and then went back to being a blocker with the Patriots. I mentioned Mercedes Lewis. He had some good years with the Jaguars where he's fantasy relevant, then became a blocker. Absolute beast. I think he's 40 years old trying to play again this year. So
correct.
Shout out Mercedes Lewis. One of the best blocking tight ends I've ever watched, right? He's up there.
6'8".
Yeah, he's an absolute moose, dude.
Pretty big.
Yeah, that guy's built like if you took a porta potty and filled it with cement and then like turned it over. That's Mercedes Lewis.
Pretty much. Boy.
Yeah. So
6'8", 270 with 4.7 speed, which sounds slow, but imagine a 6'8" man running that fast at you.
It's crazy how athletic these guys are. Real quick Patriot story for you before you guys get me out of here. I was at the YMCA once after school, and we used to hang out for the men's league to watch sometimes because Kevin Falk would play in it. So we would, So it's like if he was playing, we'd stay, and if we looked at the teams and he wasn't there, we'd leave. But one time he's playing, and Vince Wilfork shows up to watch him. So he's on the sideline, and Wilfork was still playing at the time. Falk had just retired, and Wilfork's just hanging out in jeans and Timbs. And at halftime, Wilfork's shooting around, and he shoots one, hits the backboard, hits the rim, comes back to him, and he collects it like this, gathers it. 1-2 steps, jumps up and dunks it.
Yeah, right.
I swear to God, in Timberland boots and jeans, and dude, I was rolling around on the ground, going Yeah, and he saw all us kids over there, and he's like, "What's up?" And he just went back to shooting. But dude, Vince Wilfork can dunk, no doubt.
That's
he's just a freak athlete.
Vince Wilfork can throw a football 60 yards.
I've seen him catch like 3 punts all at once. Like he had a ball in each hand. And
he's the size of 7 humans. You should be able to catch 3 footballs at once.
Dude, Wilfork, it's crazy how athletic these guys are. So that's it.
Insane.
Get me out of here, boys. Get me out of here.
Well, remind everybody where they can find you, what they should be looking for.
At Coupe Fiasco on Twitter. All the stuff is on my timeline. Take half your money, buy your wife a best ball cheat sheet, take the other half, give it to charity at Fantasy Cares, and then make some more money. I mean, you got a job, don't you? So that's what you do with that's how you allocate your funds. All right. Thank you guys. Hey, love the show.
Thanks, Coop. See you, brother. Okay. All right, good. I want to get him out because I had a good introduction for the next guy. All right. Very happy. It wasn't a quick intro. All right. So
I didn't screw it up this time.
Yeah, you didn't fuck it up this time, Ryan. Thank you. The most famous Bond ever known to mankind. Joe Bond.
Love it. Thank you.
007 Fantasy Six Pack.
Joe, we already had Kacy on earlier. She was talking you up. So
nice. Yeah, she just joined us recently, so we're in good company with her. So good stuff.
Well, Joe, as we start with everybody, as I was yelled at to start the show, what do you have going on? What is happening right now in your world that people should know about?
Yeah, so we're talking the site. So obviously, fantasy6pack.net is where you can find us. Right now, the primary sport on the site is baseball still. Football.
You guys have a ton of content over there on baseball, I noticed.
Yes, we do. So baseball is in full swing right now. We are, mixing in the football as we go. It's obviously picking up steam with the draft now in our rear view mirror. So we with the draft in the review mirror, right, we're updating all the rankings. I just updated my my half PPR ranks on the site. I'm working on my full PPR and my standard rankings. Those should be out by next week. Getting all the rest of the group in there with me to create the consensus rankings. And then we've got our dynasty rankings up there. We've got our IDP rankings, the number 4 ranked IDP ranker over on Fantasy Pros, Steve Hungartner, doing that as well. Dennis Sosick will pick him up. We'll join him later in the summer. He was a top 10 guy multiple seasons. We've got our best ball rankings by Davis Pang coming in here soon. He's working on them. And then rookie rankings, you name it. We've got we did a bunch of mock drafts like the week after. We did a redraft, a PPR. We did an IDP. We did a rookie all within a week. We just crushed them. Got all the reviews up there. We've got YouTube videos for a couple of them. We did a bunch of like landing spot articles already for all the rookies. We wanted to hammer that stuff out. We know that's what everybody wants right after the draft. Everybody cares about the rookies, immediately right then and there. But we'll have a ton more content coming out for football here. Once we get, probably, June, obviously July and August, we, just crushing football at that point.
Yeah. One of the things, the reason I really wanted to have you on the show is obviously you founded Fantasy Six Pack, but you have done such a great job surrounding yourself with great people like Kacy, Jamie, Chris Robin, who we've had in Club Fantasy shows all the time, is doing a lot of your like baseball DFS right now. Jordan Schultz, who was all over a lot of the rookie stuff.
Yeah.
I remember we shared a lot of your guys' content from Jordan early on in there. So I just like, when I look at your site, I'm not, no disrespect to any sites out there, but you guys just have home run hitters covering all of the different sports. And I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've been pretty fortunate with all that. We've even had some guys before who have gone on to do, awesome things for other sites. So I've been pretty fortunate here at Fantasy Six Pack. I got to thank the co-owner of the site as well, Keith Lott. Him and I merged teams. I can't even think of how long ago it was. 6 years ago now, which sounds crazy.
Were you and Keith both at the first expo? Is that, I feel like I met you both there.
So so it depends on which first expo you're talking about. So there was an expo, like
the little one,
years and years. It was like tiny. I did not go to that one. So I went to I don't think so.
Okay. Maybe
I honestly didn't even know about it until all of a sudden, like, Bob really got it out there. Twitter started going crazy about it. And I was like, oh, I mean, we got to go do this thing.
I would have put large amounts of money that I met you guys there, but it was clearly the next one, and I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, but Keith and I, we teamed up about 6 years ago, and mad credit to him. He has really kind of been an anchor on the site, getting a lot of the back end stuff, a lot of the data that you see there. Like he kind of is the brains behind a lot of that. And that's helped us get guys like, Chris Robin obviously is well known. He actually came on mostly because of probably the best DFS player, one of the best DFS players on our site, Dave Eddy. So he is, he's all over the place. He does well in basketball DFS. He does well in baseball DFS. Football DFS. He'll play NASCAR DFS. So he is
that's a thing.
Good. Dude, he makes more money off NASCAR DFS than he does almost anything.
I was going to say, you'll have those people who are big on NASCAR and even Formula One who see it as a soft market because.
So he literally knows zero about NASCAR. He just knows how to use the data to his advantage.
Wow.
He's that smart. Like that's he's got his process. He does it. He writes, he puts a lot of his stuff out there. Like he has our like a baseball cheat sheet right now that goes out daily on our site. It's the same link every day, just updates the data with like his favorite pitchers, his favorite hitters, his favorite team stacks, over under games to target, things like that. Like he's not building lineups for you, but he's giving you enough data to like be super successful. Right. And the fact that he is successful with it means that you should be able to as well. And we've got guys, we've got other members, we've got guys, that the members that join the Discord and take advantage of Dave and Chris and Keith Fleming during football season as well. Like those guys are making their money back on the membership and then some. Like we're not even that expensive. Like it's $10 a month, and then it's cheaper if you go like pay for like the full year up front. It ends up being like $8 a month, like maybe even cheaper now that I think about it. Yeah. But so like like all of that is there. But yeah, I mean, bringing Kacy on, when she called me and was like, "Hey, I want to write," I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, come on down." So like, I didn't even think twice about it. I mean, like that's a no brainer to me. So yeah, like I love getting these people in that just love it themselves and just love the grind and just talking about it and doing videos, whatever it is, because they're the easy ones to work with. It's the ones that come in, and unfortunately, you get some that come in and think it's gonna be, oh, this will be awesome, we'll just talk about sports, and like, it's a little bit of work.
There's a little work to it. Yep.
But if you enjoy it, it doesn't feel like as much work.
There you go.
Well, someone who's enjoying life a little too much would be Rashee Rice. And
oh my goodness,
what a segue, right? Am I right? So he's in trouble again.
Yes.
Why not? Right. If you're already in so deep
Go big
why
or go
not
home,
go
right?
deeper? Yeah, why not go deeper when you think about it?
So after the first fiasco, right? I'm like, all right, I'm in a dynasty league or two, right? I went out and went directly after the Rashee Rice. My one of my teams is like in total rebuild mode. I'm like, even if he sits up the whole year, he's still good for me because my team's going to suck this year. So like I offered him like a third, and then I offered him a second, got declined both times, and was like, all right. Threw it back. He was like, no. And then, once like the news of like how long the suspension might be, I tried it again. He let it hang out there for a minute. This news dropped yesterday. I went in and deleted the trade. I was like, no, I'm done.
I'm done.
Like, I'm out now. Like two strikes. Like, no, I'm done. Yep. I'm not waiting for the third.
Well, I have Rashee Rice, and I don't like where it's at. I also have 6 first-round picks. So what are your thoughts on Xavier Worthy as a rookie?
So he's interesting. And there's a lot of videos. I was on, I forget which podcast it was, draft night when he got drafted. And I went, oh boy, here we go. We're going to get how many Tyreek Hill comps for him, right? Yep. Like you're going to get the lazy analyst. Oh, he's Tyreek Hill. No, he's not. Tyreek Hill is a unicorn. Like that's not happening again, right? He's fast. The thing I worry, like, so his dynasty value, I'm fine with like a late-ish first-round pick for him, like in a 1 QB league, maybe super flex, also like late round first-round pick for him. 2024, I'm kind of out on him. Like I don't want him for redraft, right? We see this time and time again. Andy Reid doesn't utilize rookies right away. And even if he does, most of the time they don't hit. Maybe they'll have like 1 or 2 good games. Rashee Rice was different. Like he was kind of, I don't know. He was the exception to the rule, right? Like it doesn't usually happen that way for rookies. Even Tyreek Hill, if you remember, was not good his first year and a half. So like he was a special teams guy. He was a gadget guy. Like maybe that is what, Xavier Worthy becomes until he can kind of learn the Andy Reid system, and get into, like, believe me, they're going to be fine without him. Now, of course, losing Rashee Rice is going to be big, but, they brought in Marquise Brown. I think they're going to be just fine letting him learn the ropes and not having to throw him into the fire and, possibly burn out.
I think it's fair. It's funny you brought up the Tyreek Hill comparison. It seems like it was either Tyreek Hill because of where he ended up, or it was John Ross. And sometimes I feel like the John Ross I don't love either because he actually did something in college. Him being Xavier Worthy Worthy did something in college.
Right.
Where Ross had that one good year, and I feel like that is also lazy. I had to give our good friend Britt Flynn a hard time when she comped him to Ross. I said I don't think that's the right comp.
Yeah, I mean, come on, we did the same thing with Sky Moore. Miko Harmon when they got drafted by Kansas.
It's always Tony with the trade.
I mean, come on, and I get it, right? It's easy to go, oh man, but look at his quarterback; he's got to be awesome. It doesn't always work that way.
I love it. You're a voice of reason because I'm seeing Xavier Worthy creep up so many draft boards now.
I guarantee you, somebody will want him more than I do. Like if I've got the 1-1 and the 110 in the dynasty draft, and I absolutely know there's zero chance I'm getting Worthy because someone's going to snatch him at like 1-6 in front of like Odunze or something like that. Like it's
going to happen.
No thanks.
That's where I'm sitting with my 6 first-round picks. I'm like, I could reach if I wanted to.
Yeah, so you've got a little luxury, so you can take some more dart throws, but you're going to home run hit a few of those, and then you could take the riskier, and if it doesn't work, you got 3 out of 6 right, and you're fine.
Here's the thing, though, I don't like Xavier Worthy, so that's.
I was gonna say, I'm not going to name names, but so I was telling Joe, there's a draft I'm a part of right now that I traded all my picks away last year on a run for the championship. So I hadn't paid a lot of attention to the draft. I decided just to go look based on our conversation. Xavier Worthy 6, Rome Odunze 7. I feel like the guy at 7 needs to be writing a thank you letter. That was the same draft, Joe, that I told you Bowers went in the 2nd round. So
man, the Bowers fall is for real. Like I get it. The landing spot's not good, especially for 2024. But I think moving forward, he's going to be awesome.
I could tell you right now, I'm taking Rome Odunze at 2 because I know the guy at 1's taking Marvin Harrison. I know the guy at 3's taking Neighbors.
You're taking Odunze over
one quarterback league.
So you're taking him over Neighbors.
Yeah, Joe's all in on that.
I'm all in on Odunze. Right. I'm all in on Odunze. I like Odunze more than Neighbors. And then I have 4 or 5, so I'm going to take some. This is a stretch. I love Ladd McConkey. I might take McConkey at 4.
I love the lady spot at least.
And then Bowers at 5. Like I'm not letting Bowers.
Who's your quarterback? I mean, go get Caleb. You've got luxury. Go for it.
I have Kyler.
And somebody else young too. I can't remember.
Okay.
I have Kyler Fields, who again we're hoping later.
Yeah, dude, I've got
It's a 1 QB.
I've got
okay
Lawrence and Field. I had like 15 picks that year, and so I took both. I was like, well, why not?
Yeah. So
and 1 QB league as well.
Here's the thing: if Caleb, because I have the 102, the 4-5, the 7-8, and the 10. So if Williams falls to 7, sure, I'll throw it at Williams. I'm not a big Williams fan, but I'll throw it at Williams. But if not, like, okay, Jayden Daniels should be at the 10. Like if I want a young QB, let me go take Daniels. Or I'm a Pats fan. Let me go take Drake May just as a homer pick. Because again, like that 10 for me is probably gonna be a swing. Like that 10 for me is gonna be a big swing. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm at. But I like Kyler my 1 QB. If I need a fill in, I have Matt Stafford who's still kicking and running. And then again, if Wilson sucks or gets hurt, Justin Fields is the next guy. So I feel okay. And then Darthur, I fucking Aiden O'Connell on my roster.
You'll figure it out.
Play.
Yeah, not working. Joe, before we let you go, where can everybody find you, all your work, everything you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So fantasysixpack.net is where you can find all the work that I do. We got YouTube, we got Spotify, we got Apple Podcasts, you name it. We're out there. All the other random places that do video and audio, we're there. Obviously, football content's picking up here. So we just got our rankings released. We've got content in the works. The draft cheat sheets is where it's at for us, though. I'm telling you, those things are awesome. I won quite a few leagues last year using my own cheat sheet. So those will be out there. I'm dominating baseball right now with my cheat sheet. I had a total rebuild with a keeper league. I decided I'm not keeping anybody. My team sucked last year, and I just threw everybody back, and I'm in second place in baseball. Yeah. So like who needs to keep anybody, right? I just use my cheat sheet and get back up there. So the football one is just as good. You can get access to all that going to fantasysixpack.net/plans. We'll have some promo codes later this summer. So check those out on Twitter at fantasysixpack.
Perfect.
Joe,
thank you, Joe. Sir. Great having you, buddy.
Coming on, brother.
Thank you, guys. Have a good show.
Good work.
Boom. All right. Moving into second to last guest. We have his three letters in his title.
There you go.
There's just 3 letters. That's all he needs. His full government legal name. Allan Hepworth. How are you, sir?
Your mic is a little fuzzy.
You're a little fuzzy. Yeah, you're a little fuzzy. You sound like the year that Earl Campbell was playing, but that's okay. We'll get there. We'll figure it out.
I even had somebody help me fix this about 2 hours ago, so darn it.
Oh, there you go.
Better now.
It's coming in right now, whatever you just did. Yep.
You just need to be close.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Yep.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Well, Allan, we had, who is it? Was Coop was talking about it?
Coop was talking Allan up, said Allan might be the hardest working guy in fantasy this week.
Boom. Because, Allan, what do you have going on?
We are running Fantasy Cares Eliminator as part of the Fantasy Cares and the Scott Fish Bowl Fantasy Cares. So yeah, Fantasy Cares Eliminators are a tie to that. So yes, they fired off Monday, and we have been busy for sure.
And I know you were working with our Faith, who had the Women of Fantasy Football Eliminator set up. I guess it filled up pretty quickly, and you guys are working on or backseating right now a second one. I don't remember everything that's going on, but I wanted to ask you, I had a great question today, and I haven't done the Eliminator this year yet, but someone asked me, what are the rules of the Eliminators? But as I understand it, there could be a lot of rules for the Eliminators. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, the base rules are consistent year to year. You have 18 franchises, including the celebrity host, and each week the lowest scoring team is eliminated. So at the end of week 17, the last standing franchise are the victors for that season. So generally, that's consistent year to year. Every year, the actual scoring rules, roster configuration, it changes. It varies every year. Yet this year, the theme is upside down from the Stranger Things. So we definitely got wonky with the scoring settings.
And then some. Am I correct that some celebrities can add? Like I thought I saw there's a fantasy cares where trading is allowed.
Yeah, we have. I'm trying to think. There's probably 3 or 4 unique formats. There's a couple that we're running that are trading is allowed. There are a couple auction drafts where obviously you're running auction, you're able to make trades. John Bosch runs a couple of blind bid auction formats, so you just basically put in your waiver bids, and there's actually going to be 9 rookie drafts where it's the I won't go into the details, but basically you draft 6 rookie players, and that is basically your team for the season. You start 4 every week, up to 4 every week. So we'll do 9 of those. There's 2 running back only drafts, so those are 8 rounds where it's just Eric Blair and Kevin Tompkins host those leagues. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for MFL's the ability to set unique construct unique leagues is wide open with that format, so you can really get in there and play.
I think that's completely awesome. And then just remind folks where they can sign up for the Eliminators and how it benefits Scott Fishbowl.
Yeah, you can go to fantasycares.org, and I don't have it open. I should, but if you go to the very far right side of the top menu, there's just hover over that menu item, and there's celebrity eliminators, I believe. You click on that, and down below there's you can use the drop down, find your whichever celebrity that you would like to play with, and then input your information, your username, your Twitter if you have one, email, and then sign up, and it goes to the admin site where we see you, and we'll grab you and put you in an MFL league, and you're off to the races.
Boom.
There you go. Yeah, it's under fundraisers on the far right-hand side, and I actually am dropping the sign-up link in the chat right now.
If anybody would like to go sign up, that is the last two websites have not been .coms, so keep in mind fantasycares.org, fantasy6pack.net, which I'm surprised .net didn't catch on over .com, because network, right? You would imagine that would have caught on more than .commercial, which is what com is short for in org, obviously organization. Allan, your ideal first round pick for Scott Fish. Now I feel like again,
no scoring yet.
I've only played Scott Fish once, but I feel like I have to get rid of Christian McCaffrey in this whole thing. Can we say anyone but McCaffrey? Because I feel like that's a cop-out.
I was going to say, but maybe there's a reason it's McCaffrey. But I know Scott Fishbowl, we're probably going to be looking at Superflex again. So my thought process behind this question is, are you someone who has to land a quarterback in a Superflex? Are you willing to go with one of the other positions? Or are you still crazy? Do you need to get Travis Kelce in the first round?
Well, me personally, I took the 101, and I'm from Wyoming, so I'm a big Josh Allen fan, so I will draft Josh Allen. But I think my overall thoughts with the Scott Fish Bowl, it's impossible to win that competition. To win it, you have to be unique. So I think that's the mindset you have to go. Without knowing the scoring, we don't know if it's going to be a 3rd round reversal. We don't know.
Yeah.
But I think to go into it, you have to you have to build a unique league and roll the dice, in my opinion.
We actually did a lot of Scott Fishbowl talk this past Saturday. We did a mock draft. Again, don't know the scoring, but someone brought up that same thing. You need to approach it like the big DFS tournaments and the big best ball tournaments. You need to walk out with a unique lineup. Someone asked Scott, actually it was Faith, asked Scott, when will we know scoring? And all Scott said was, I released it June 7th last year. I hope to beat that this year.
Okay. Well,
that's where we stand.
As a guy who walks out with 3 running backs in the first 3 rounds of most of his drafts, I would say that's pretty unique. So it's great. I love it. Josh Allen, stay at the home in Wyoming. Where in Wyoming?
Little town in Star Valley. It's western Wyoming, south of Jackson Hole.
Okay, I know Jackson Hole. I was going to say there's about 3 cities in that state.
I always have to narrow it down. I started Star Valley, end up Jackson Hole, and that gets people close enough.
I've been in Wyoming once, and it was to drive through on my way back home from Las Vegas, picking up my car, and I stayed overnight in Casper, Wyoming.
Yeah.
And that's where I was. And I was scared for my life because the entire road was icy and there wasn't a single light lighting up the highway for 60 miles, and I was scared.
Yeah.
So
that's Wyoming.
That was my experience. Beautiful. It was a beautiful countryside.
It
Looked
is
beautiful. Yeah. Recommend to visit. Don't recommend driving at night in the middle of February. So that's my experience. But if you had to, non-quarterback, non-homer pick, who would you take in Scott Fish if you had to not take Josh Allen?
Oh, geez. I have not even thought about it. Non-homer, not Josh Allen, probably Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. You're going quarterback heavy.
You're quarterback no matter what, because I know Christian McCaffrey is probably going to work into a lot of people's consciousness. It's funny, last year was the debate, Christian McCaffrey or Justin Jefferson, but all of a sudden Justin Jefferson doesn't have a quarterback, and nobody's worried about that right now.
So, Heb, let me ask you, because you're obviously a big quarterback guy when it comes to Scott Fish. Where is the drop-off for you? When would you not draft a quarterback? So, obviously, you're taking Allen, Mahomes. Where's the drop-off for you? Where do you take McCaffrey, essentially?
I'm also, I've got cognitive bias from last year because I fought hard for I think I took the 106 with the intention of taking Justin Fields. I thought that was going to be a money hit. I'm a Bears fan, so I don't know. Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, Lamar Jackson. There's probably 4 or 5 quarterbacks, and then I would think about McCaffrey. But it all depends on the scoring too. I mean, the scoring could really change how you approach. But I think that the big 3-4 quarterback with the rushing upside potentially.
And then, as a Bears fan, where would you take Caleb Williams and Scott Fish?
Oh, geez.
That's a tough one.
It's tough.
Do you think he creeps up? Because people think he's generational. Do you think he creeps up like late second round, maybe?
Potentially. It depends on the league. I mean,
I was going to say, I think we could see Caleb Williams as a first-round pick. Fish. If there's no negative scoring again this year like there was last year, I think we see Caleb Williams routinely in the first round.
Do you really? I don't think Scott's going to give us no negative. I just, last year was like a party, I can't see him.
What's funny is everybody else in the world, I agree with you. I think he flips it. Everybody else is like, why would he go back to negative scoring?
Because he's Scott Fish.
Exactly.
Why not? Fuck it. Why not?
That's right.
Well, before we let you out of here, Hep, I wanted to throw out, you got fans. Scamper says, thanks for all the work on Fantasy Cares this week. And like I said, Andrew Cooper was quick to point out when he brought up Fantasy Cares, all of the great work you've been doing. So you are very much appreciated, and I'm glad we could get you on the show. Again, remind everybody what they can do with Fantasy Cares and what your part in it is.
Yeah, sure. I'll just shout out, it's been a privilege. John Bosch started these back in, I think, 17 Fantasy Insanities best balls back then, and they've just blossomed to these Fantasy Cares Eliminators. We will have built probably 200 MFL leagues this draft season, which is just incredible. But when we build a Twitter DM for all of these drafts, and being able to help these drafters, these degenerates, these carrying souls out with, Fantasy Cares and these eliminators, getting to interact and see their interactions. And, it's all for charity. Everybody's donating to Fantasy Cares. And, it's really remarkable. It really is. I'm really fortunate to be able to lean into it and help out. So, being acknowledged is awesome, but it really is. I'm fortunate. I think there's many people that would love to trade hats with me and it could do just what I do. So I'm really lucky, but we'll embrace it and move on.
We appreciate you, Hep. Well, thanks again for stopping in. I know you weren't so sure about jumping on the live show. Yeah, you did absolutely great. We very much appreciate it,
my friend. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for asking, and I appreciate it.
Yep, have a good night, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks, too.
Yep.
Boom. All right.
There we go.
As we wait for our potential last guest that Ryan got last minute, right?
Last minute, and we had to adjust the show a little bit because his recording schedule worked in a very specific way. So we should have him on in the next few minutes, but it's someone who I have the honor of working with over at Footballguys, and we all have the honor of hearing from here in a few moments. But
Ryan just essentially wanted to get his boss on here so he'd get brownie points. That's
not quite my boss, but
someone higher up than him.
Oh, I mean, he's higher up than everybody.
that could get brownie points with his boss. How about that? And speak of the devil. Speak of the devil. You say it, and he comes. You're not the devil, Bob. Don't worry. Bob Harris from Footballguys. Bob, how are you?
It's true. I am the devil. There's no doubt about it.
Honestly, you could be cast as a devil in like a television show or something like that.
I sand my horns down, just for my day job, but like I could let them grow up.
You could pull off bald Ted Danson in The Good Place.
I think so.
There you go.
There you go. That's him. That's perfect.
That's factual.
Bob, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Joe. How are you?
It's a beautiful Wednesday here in Indianapolis. I can't complain.
No storms?
No, we were supposed to get smacked yesterday and it was sunny. So
good.
Right when the show was starting, we got a crazy windstorm here in Albany. Nothing compared to what you guys are getting over there in the Midwest.
Yeah,
but I was a little nervous about my electricity for a while there. So
yeah, everyone around us is getting their asses handed to them, and Indianapolis is just sitting all cheery right here in the middle. So hope everyone else is obviously very okay. Yeah. Bob, thank you for coming on because you had to work around some schedule. What do you have going on in this super duper busy time of NFL, which is May?
I just jumped off my live stream. I do a live stream every Wednesday on the Hot Street. Had the great Matt Donnelly on tonight. It was a good time. I do a couple live streams each week on my Football Diehards channel for my previous site. I am now with Footballguys, where I get to work with Ryan, who is fantastic, by the way. Like, what a great, like a horrible circumstance.
This is why you wanted him on.
A horrible circumstance for me to have to change jobs, but like the landing spot couldn't have been better. A great group of people, most of whom I know really well. The ones I don't know really well, I'm finding out are super fantastic to work with, people like Ryan. And so, yeah, and Footballguys is what I'm doing now. We've got all kinds of stuff going on, the free daily emails out there, and I get to be a part of that with my old friends, Cecil Lammy and Sigmund Bloom. So I get a couple days shift there. They get a little lighter load and everything goes well. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. Do a weekly article every week, a fantasy notebook that comes out early in the week that I love doing. Do a video each week, a headline news video. Probably going to start doing more of those.
I was just going to say, Bob, my favorite part of your addition to Footballguys is the notebook and the headlines video, because my goodness, does it make keeping up with things so incredibly easy. So thank you for the work.
I appreciate that. That's kind of the goal though. We sit here and we're steeped in this. We're soaking in it like 24 hours a day, every waking moment. I know you guys are, I know I am, and I've been doing this for 30 plus years. But it's easy for us to lose sight of the fact that everyone else has a job and they're doing things, and football isn't 100% on the radar. So I'm trying to do some things that maybe help people catch up. The headline news videos, 10 minutes, gives you the top stories, kind of gets you up to speed on some values and some things going on. Not everyone's doing 15 best balls at a time. Like I'm looking at, make sure I'm not timing out on anything right now. Or in 4 eliminators or whatever you're doing. Not everyone is doing that. And I think, creating content for the people that are out there trying to keep up. And I try and do that during the season with some injury videos. Well, you'll be seeing that at Footballguys as well. Something I did at Football Diehards in the past. And it's just something like, if you haven't been paying attention and you need 10 minutes, a 10-minute primer before you set your lineup, those are the kind of digestible things I think a lot of people need. Look, that's the thing about fantasy, right? There is a wide range of people who will scroll down a page and look at the bolded names for the names they're looking for. Then there's the other guys who sit on the toilet with a shampoo bottle reading the back of it, who will read every single word you're writing, right? There are people out there who want, and I'm one of those. Like, I want the context. I want every last bit of information. But, being able to present that in ways that the audience can kind of find it accessible to their degree of interest, right? Like everyone has differing levels. So I try to do that.
I want to meet the guy sitting on the toilet holding a shampoo bottle. I want to meet that guy.
I've done it.
Well, now that I'm dating myself. Now I have a phone. So the shampoo bottle.
So before, were you reading the ingredients on the shampoo bottle?
For sure.
Whatever you can do, you gotta kill time, my guy.
The instructions.
How to use shampoo. Open, squirt, put in hair. And for Bob, it was just the open and squirt part. There was no hair to put it in. So
100% true.
This is not the turn I expected to take to end the show.
He said shampoo bottle. I'm like, I've never held a shampoo
I saw the look
bottle.
on your face, Joe.
Well, taking a poop. Like, that's never crossed my mind.
The brain must have information coming into the brain.
Joe was born in an age of technology.
He was.
I was born in 1998. Like to me, like Bob, were you like counting the threads on the toilet paper if you got bored after the shampoo bottle?
I was.
Okay, beautiful. I love that. Well, a question for you that you can ponder maybe tonight while you're
pulled directly from his most recent article.
So. So he has an answer. I didn't even need to ponder. Yep. Biggest beneficiary from the Kellen Moore hire in Philadelphia?
All of us.
Nice.
Like you've got great offensive pieces. That offense struggled, down the stretch last year, and they admitted it. And I wonder if it struggled to the degree, like there was a lot of outside noise, a lot of media drama, and media noise in Philadelphia is the norm. That's Philadelphia. It's kind of like New York Junior. Somebody's going to get really mad I said it like that. But in terms of media, like, and maybe more aggressive. But like he kept hearing, AJ Brown, no, there's no dissension in the locker room. There's none of these things. There's all the discussion of that. But I do think Jalen Hurts, maybe a little more downfield work. That's kind of been the thing for Kellen Moore. Maybe a little extra. Well, not extra, but you've got guys like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, 1,000-yard receivers each now in a good offense that can support both of them. By the way, if you're a dynasty manager, welcome to this for the next 5 years. They're all locked up and ready to roll. I think Saquon Barkley's in a great spot. We'll see if they keep using Jalen Hurts. I mean, he can still squat 600 pounds. Jason Kelsey's gone. I don't think the tush-push approach totally goes away. And also, if you're worried about Saquon Barkley not getting goal line carries, okay, Saquon, carry it in from 5. It'll be okay. We'll take those touchdowns, right? So I think all those guys benefit. I think all the frontline players there are going to be hugely, hugely important to fantasy managers. You're paying for them all, except for Devontae Smith. Find him maybe as like, I want to say, is it best ball 10s right now? He's like wide receiver 25. That's a little outside his finishes the last couple of years. I know he's a little more hit or miss, in general, but it's best ball season, people. He can be a little hit or miss.
Yeah, that's where you want him.
That's where you want your hit or miss.
Right.
Yeah, like Coop was saying something like he traded something for Jerry Jeudy. I'm like, I hope that was in a best ball league.
Yeah, that's I just picked Jerry Jeudy in a best ball league, wide receiver 6. So earlier this year I got autoed on it, or not, I didn't get autoed, but I got caught short. Like, how when you first start drafting, this is the reason I draft in 100 drafts every chance I get. And so like when somebody snags somebody right out from under you, you don't make the panic pick. Yep. Right? You're like, you got somebody in your hip pocket. No problem. I'll throw that down. Yep. Well, that happened to me. I had a tight end. I was all dialed in, ready to go. He went to pick before, and I just did a panic pick, and it's Jerry Jeudy. I said, oh my God, I can never let this happen again. But then he got traded to Cleveland, and I'm thinking, well, maybe this won't work out that bad. Yes, I've been drafting best ball teams since February, so a lot has changed over the course of time.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I love it. I will never draft Jerry Jeudy ever.
Joe has been anti-Jerry Jeudy from the moment
he came out.
The moment that Jerry Rice player comp on Player Profiler popped up. So.
that was CeeDee Lamb.
That was CeeDee Lamb.
Like, that was a comp?
Yeah.
It must have been just because of the fucking name. Like, there's no way.
I'm an idiot. It was.
Yeah, I was okay with that for CD. That man. That man knows how to work it. All right, I love that. Listen, if you need anybody that lives and breathes fantasy football, the man's been drafting best ball since the Super Bowl ended.
I'm a slacker. My co-host on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, Mike Dempsey, is already in over. I'm pretty sure he's hit 150. I'm well into the double digits. I'm heading up to 50. Dempsey's done 150, and by the time the season starts, he'll have done 1,000.
All right, so Mike, I want you to just watch any YouTube video. There's a place called BetterHelp.com. Somebody will reach out to you. We'll get you. We'll see a specialist, and we'll match you with somebody.
Here's the argument, though. Like, we're sitting here talking about this every day. We're doing live streams. We're doing radio shows. I want to be steeped in the subject, right? Like, just be soaking in it. And there's no better way to be ready to talk about average draft positions, things like that, than if you're living it in the moment. And so I know we joke about it, and like, it is true. I mean, it's a ridiculous number of drafts, but it's also, we start 2 every radio show, and let the listeners jump in with us there. But that's the reason. You can sit there and you can discuss things, pretty much off the top of your head. Oh yeah, I'm getting him in round 6. Oh yeah, he slipped down around 10. That's crazy good value. Oh, those are the kind of things that you want to be able to have at your disposal. And that's what happens when you steep yourself in a subject, so that the guys who are out there and have 10 minutes a week to catch up, you have all the vital information they need in those 10 minutes, maybe even in a video that comes out every Friday.
Well, especially now, it's that's your research. Like, how much research can you do into a team currently in May when they haven't even done, like, they're not doing anything right now. They did their OTAs. They're done. They're lifting.
I will say, I feel like we do, like I talk about it all the time. The NFL has developed this perfect 365-day reality show, right?
Yep.
Go from Super Bowl to combine to free agency to draft to OTAs to mini camps to, June, maybe somebody will not get in trouble. July, training camps break up. And then, you're off to the races again. And they keep this. I think the thing that's part of that being steeped in the subject, though, is also paying attention. I start paying attention, to combine. Every GM and coach speaks, and they start planting flags there. And it's subtly the place that I find they tell the most truth. Look, they're lying all the time, but they tell the most truth at the combine. And what you do is you take those comments and all the information you gather from all what they're saying, and you can start comparing the words to their actions, because you start seeing those actions in free agency, when the lying has to stop, when you're spending money at the draft, when you're spending draft capital on picks. There are no lies told then. There are only the absolute truths of here's what we're spending to do things. Then you can take those truths with the lies you've been told all along and varying degrees of truth, and start putting that to what you're hearing from the field during the OTAs, during the workouts, etc. I mean, it's just to me, that's the joy of the fantasy sports, is being able to, watch at that level, start sorting things out, figuring out the true from the false, sorting through the tea leaves, and plugging little bits of information into this data continuum, so that by the time you hit August and the drafts matter most, you have this total knowledge of what you need to know. And like, that doesn't guarantee everything, right? Like nothing is guaranteed. The football is an oblong spheroid. It bounces funny ways by design, right? They want it to be screwy on Sundays, but you go in there with, being as best informed as you can be, better informed than the people you're playing against, and you increase your odds. You're not out there. You're not throwing the passes. You're not calling plays. I have news, people. You're not going to tape anyone's ankle and help them get back on the field. You're going to make well-informed decisions. Well, I do, kind of. But making well-informed decisions is what you can control. And, that's how you get the best possible outcomes. You don't get them every time. That's not how it works, but putting yourself in position to get them, I think, is the fun part of the game.
I love it.
What a way to end it. What a way to end it.
Bob, that's how you end a show, my friend.
Yeah. Bob, before you go, one more time, where can everybody find you and your work?
Footballguys.com. You can find me there every Monday. The Fantasy Notebook. Find me on the YouTube channel, the Audible YouTube channel, with my news video, top 5 headlines. You can find me on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. Right now, it's every Saturday from 3 until 5. Soon, it will be way more, because it always is. That, like, baseball season, fantasy baseball season lasts about till the draft, and then football season starts creeping back in. So we'll be back, and you can catch me on my Football Diehards YouTube channel a couple times a week, Wednesday and Saturday. So a lot going on. Go to the Twitterverse at Football Diehard. You'll find everything I'm doing.
And you have Eliminator going, right, Bob?
I have 2 Eliminators going, and I'm in a third.
Full? Okay, so there you go.
I think they might be starting up another one. I think last year I did 3, so sometimes they kind of let it breathe a little bit. But yes, watch those if you're out there and you see my name. Come in. I'm very good at the Eliminators, and I love doing them.
We just had Allan on from Fantasy Care, so that works out perfectly.
Allan.
So, yep,
Allan's
there you
the
go.
Best, man.
Beautiful.
Go check him out, guys. It's Bob. Thank you so much. Always an honor, my friend.
Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you,
Have
Bob.
a good night, buddy.
Boom.
We did it, Joe.
What a way. I know, it was great. That was a
great episode.
Yeah, facilitated. I was just chilling. People in here yelling at me per usual.
I only had to yell at you one time. It worked out fantastically.
Listen, there's a lot of haters in this chat.
Hey, you made it? I said the chat wasn't killing you, were they? I didn't notice it.
No, but there's enough. Gator's words ring loud. But listen, haters are my greatest motivators, right? That's
Lord. What is this show?
I don't know. Next week, guess what? You get more of me and Ryan, because Josh doesn't know a lick of shit about IDP. It is our intro into IDP show with Leo, Master IDP. I can't believe I have to tell the #1 IDP ranker at Fantasy Pros last season that he's wrong. Like, why do we line this up?
Josh told me to tell you to bring your A game.
Leo needs to bring his A game. I don't know.
There you go. I love it.
Listen, Leo. They didn't even invite me to Fantasy Pros because I would have made everybody cry. All right,
Exactly.
that's what happened. No, that's very exciting. I know we've had a lot of top 10 guys on our IDP shows in previous years. Never the number one. So Leo, very excited to have you on. I thank God it's the off season and I actually can maybe do a little research.
There you go. And you get to slide over. I get to host, and you get to answer the whole show.
I know that's insane. This is crazy. I'm so excited. Intro to IDP, one of my favorite shows every single year. It's a great time. And
I do love. Sir Football said creator speed dating was a success.
Perfect. That was perfect.
What a great way to describe the show.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd swipe right on everybody.
I'd swipe right on
everybody. Yeah, I'd swipe right on everybody. They were fantastic. Very excited next week. Intro to IDP with Leo, Master IDP Ranker, #1 IDP Ranker Fantasy Pros. Even if you're not an IDP fan, come watch because you're going to be an IDP fan at the end of it because you're going to realize how much team defenses fucking suck. And if you like points, then you should play in an IDP league and come join us. Ask me or Ryan. We'll happily join your IDP league and we'll make it a lot of fun.
We're in.
Oh, yeah. For Ryan at the Fantasy 5, Josh at the One Hudsonian, myself at Joe_Zollo, but more importantly, where, Ryan? Where should they follow?
At Indie Fuel, baby.
At Indie Fuel, baby. We are top 3 in growth in the ECHL this year. It was a great year for us.
Proud of you, Joe. You are killing it, my guy.
Yeah. Shout out to all the kids following us. We appreciate it. A lot of fans. Always remember, defense wins championship. Offense wins fantasy football. We will see you next week.